The day 11 of Advent of Cyber. Let's dive into the storyline and see what we have for today. After last year's automation and tech modernization, Santa's workshop got a new makeover. MixKitty has a secure message portal where you can contact her directly with any question or concerns. However, lately the logs have been lighting up with unusual activity, ranging from odd messages to suspicious search terms. Even Santa's letters appears to be scripts or random code. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, dig through the logs, uncover the mischief, and figure out who is trying to mess with Mix Kitty. Today's learning objectives are understand how XSS works, learn to prevent XSS attacks. Now, XSS is nothing but cross-site scripting. In short, we call it as XSS. So let's click on the check button here and move to the next section. I've already turned on both the machines which we require for today because that's going to take some time to load. So it's already powered on. Equipment check. For today's room, we will be using the web app found under this HTTP and the URL there. You can use the browser of your attack box to navigate to it. You will see a page as shown below. What we do is, let's copy that and open this in full screen. Or no need, let's do it in the half screen itself. Let's make this a 50-50 side of the window. I hope that's better. Now let's open Firefox and let's also paste that URL into the clipboard so that we can paste it into the Firefox browser. Now here, let's paste that in and press enter. That should load right to MixKitty Santa. Right to MixKitty, send your Christmas wishes and questions to Santa's chief security elf. And okay, welcome to Santa's workshop communication portal. Here you can send messages to MixKitty, our chief security elf, who handles all cybersecurity matters at the best festival company. Whether you have questions about Christmas security, want to report suspicious activity, or just want to say hello, MixKitty here is here to help. Search previous messages, so we can look for previous messages and communications from there. And okay, that's not loading. It is loading, but that seems to be there's some lag. Send a message to MixKitty. Write your message below, and MixKitty will get back to you as soon as possible. Your message. Hi, this is Pranava. Me here. How are you doing? That's enough. Then let's send a message there. So your message has been sent to MixKitty. Thank you for contacting Santa's workshop. So can I search hi there? Search message and search result. Hi, it just came there. Okay, that's fine. Recent messages. Hi, okay, this is we can see our message here. That's good. Then system logs, view the recent system activities and security events. And we can even see our log to be present there. That's interesting. Okay, now let's get into the section where we can read about today's challenge. Let's review some key material regarding the potential attacks on websites like this portal, specifically cross-site scripting, or in short, XSS. XSS is a web application vulnerability that lets attackers or evil bunnies inject malicious code, usually JavaScript, into the input fields that reflect content viewed by other users. Example, a form of comment in a blog. When an application doesn't properly validate or escape user input, that input can be interpreted as code rather than harmless text. This results in malicious code that can steal credentials, deface pages, or impersonate users. Depending on the result, there are various types of XSS. In today's task, we'll focus on reflected cross-site scripting and stored cross-site scripting. Reflected cross-site scripting. You see reflected variance when the injection is immediately projected in a response. Imagine a toy search function in an online toy store. You search through, they've given us the URL here which says search term is equal to gift. But imagine you send this to your friend who is looking for a gift for for their nephew. Please don't do this. Okay. It says term. It's passing in a JavaScript, which is script alert, and it says top. Basically, it's nothing but putting out an alert message that we would generally see, and closing that JavaScript payload there. So this is nothing but a payload which would give an alert message on your web browser. If your friend clicks on the link, it will execute code instead. Impact: you could act, view information, or modify information that your friend or any user could do, view, or access. It's usually exploited through phishing to trick users into clicking a link with malicious code injected. Stored cross-site scripting. A stored cross-site scripting attack occurs when malicious script is saved on the server and then loaded for every user who views the affected page. Unlike reflected cross-site scripting, which targets individual victims, stored cross-site scripting becomes a send and forget attack. Anyone who loads the page runs the attacker's script. To understand how this works, let's use example of a simple blog where users can submit comments that get displayed below each post. Now, normal comment submission would look like something like post and then to the comments section there, or the comments page, and it would contain a post id which is equal to 3. It would say name, some email id there. Then this gift set by carpet on fire, but my kid loved it. I don't know why am I messing up reading so much. The server stores this information and displays it whenever someone visits that blog post. Okay, so that's going to happen whenever you submit some blog or some comment on the blog. You can see those comments like this being present below the blog post there. Malicious comment submission. So they're giving an example of stored cross-site scripting as an example. If the application does not sanitize or filter input, an attacker can submit JavaScript instead of a comment. And we can see here that some script is being passed, which is nothing but again an alert message which is being popped on the screen to the user whenever they just load this page. And rest of the part of the we say the comment is present there. Because the comment is saved in the database, every user who opens the blog post will automatically trigger the script. This lets the attacker run code as if they were the victim in order to perform malicious actions such as steal session cookies, trigger fake login pop ups, or deface the page. Protecting against cross site scripting. Each service is different and requires a well thought out, secure design and implementation plan. But the key practice you can implement are: disable dangerous redirecting rats. Instead of using inner HTML property, which lets you inject any content directly into HTML, use text content property instead. It treats input as text and passes it for HTML. Make cookies inaccessible to JavaScript. Set session cookies with HTTP only, secure, and same site attributes to reduce the impact of cross site scripting attacks. Sanitize input or output and encode. In some situations, applications may need to accept limited HTML input. For example, to allow user to include safe link or basic formatting. However, it's critical to sanitize and encode all user supplied data to prevent security vulnerabilities. Sanitizing and encoding removes or escapes any element that could be interrupted as executable code, such as scripts, event handlers, or JavaScript URLs while perceiving safe formatting. To exploit cross-site scripting vulnerability, we need some type of input field to inject the code. There is a search section. Let's start there. Exploiting reflected cross-site scripting. To exploit reflected cross-site scripting, we can use the test payload to check if the app runs the code injected. If you want to test more advanced payload, there are cheat sheets. Again, you can browse it in some GitHub pages also online that you can use to craft them. For now, we'll pick the following payload. So we are picking this as our payload, which says again alert message and says reflected meow meow. That's funny. Inject the code by adding the payload to the search bar and clicking search messages. If this shows the alert text, we have confirmed reflected cross-site scripting. So what happened? So let's do this there. Let's use this payload and come here. Let's paste it into the clipboard. Replace that with this into no, the one which I copied. I want this one to go into the clipboard. Now I will search for, replace this content, paste that in, search the message, and says reflected meow meow, which means that yes, this page is indeed vulnerable to. Oh, we also get a flag. We get it's vulnerable to reflected cross-site scripting. So let's copy the flag and let's save the flag. Let's open a text editor. Place it there. Okay, let's paste that flag a little later. Now let's continue reading here. The search input is reflected directly in the search result without encoding. The browser interprets your HTML or JavaScript as executable code. An alert box appeared demonstrating successful cross-site scripting execution. You can track the behavior and how the system interprets your action by checking the system logs tab at the bottom of the page. Let's do that. Let's go down here and we can see that whenever we pass that script, it's even though it's URL encoding it, it's considering this to be the JavaScript, and we can see that here it says okay, that's present there, but yeah, this script is basically running as an extra JavaScript parameter in that. There is not much information which could be used, but then yeah, that's the only information which is present. Okay, anyway, let's continue here. Now that we have confirmed reflected cross-site scripting, let's investigate if it's susceptible to cross-site scripting. This vector must be different as it needs to be persisted. Look at the website. We can see that you are able to send messages which are stored on the server for Mixkitty to view later, as opposed to searching, which is stored temporarily on the client side. Navigate to the message form, then enter the malicious payload we used before. Others work too. So let's copy this itself. It's called as stored meow meow. Now go to the clipboard, replace it with this, and let's pass it to the messages here. Click on send message. It says stored meow meow. When I click on OK, now every time I, let's say, refresh this page, it says again stored meow meow. So every time a different user comes in, it again says stored meow meow. That's basically a very bad vulnerability, because here it could even start stealing your session IDs, or it could prompt you to say log in once again, and you click on OK. That starts to redirect you into a different page. So all those things are possible with stored cross-site scripting. Click the send message button because the messages are stored on the server. Every time you navigate to the site or reload, the alert will display. Wrapping up. So it is confirmed the site is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. It's no wonder that unusual payloads have been detected in the logs. The team will now harden the site to prevent future malicious code from being injected. So what type of cross-site scripting attacks requires payload to be persisted on the backend? That is stored. I press D. Yeah, stored. No, stored. Yeah. What is the reflected cross-site scripting flag? Let's copy this flag and then paste it in there. Click on check. That's done. Now, do we get? Yeah, we get the flag here. So it's stored egg. So let's copy from the clipboard, paste it in. What is the second stored cross-site scripting flag? Let's paste it there. Click on check. That's done. If you enjoyed today's room, you might want to have a look at the intro to cross-site scripting room. So yeah, please do check it out. So it's going to be a lot of fun there. With that, we have finished the day 11 of Advent of Cyber. In fact, that is just 1 minute left for the day 12 of Advent of Cyber. I'm recording this on the 12th day. The time is 21 hours, 29 minutes. So yeah, let's Let's meet you all in the day 12 of Advent of Cyber. With that, I would like to end this video. Till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Meet you on the day 12 of Advent of Cyber. Thank you for watching.